Alright guys, S-Rank Shu is a character that I've been incredibly excited for. This is a character that I have shown on various occasions and told you guys is incredibly fun. I'm most likely going to pull for her anyways, but I'm going to start this video off by saying that unless you're just someone who's just having fun with the characters and don't care who you pull for and don't care what characters are coming later, or you're a spender and it doesn't really matter, I really can't recommend this character to a lot of people. If you're meta, if you're trying to build a team around damage dealing, various different scenarios, I can't recommend this character. Now, if you're waifu over meta and you don't care and you think she's hot and you simply just want her because she has two stances and she's fun to experiment with those two stances, I can see you enjoying this character. Incredibly fun, incredibly different, incredibly different in comparison to all the other characters that are available in the current global version. But for the most part, I'm going to have to say it's probably better for you to save for a character like Thor, who is coming closer to 2.0, but will be able to deal the damage that this character can deal better than the way that this character doesn't. Of course, she is probably going to be buffed with a synchro buff in the future. For those who don't know what a synchro buff is, it will be explained in a future patch. Pretty much they're trying to balance all of the characters that were in the 1.0 version to give them a little bit more viability. And Scotty is one of those characters that is now a tier 0 high ranking character because of her synchro buff, despite everyone saying that she is weak and useless. However, despite having a synchro buff, you have to play her a very specific way. You have to have her functor, and you have to have her a double S character, or rank her up to double S. So there's still caveats, but they're trying to balance out these characters in a way that will make them viable for 2.0 plus content. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and show you her S-Rank Shu's offensive stance and defensive stance and try my best to explain it in a way that's easy to understand. Once again, I make this disclaimer in every single video. I don't know the best way to use these characters, but in this specific scenario, I did my due diligence, speaking to community members, people who have played the CN version, to understand this character as much as possible, to make sure that I don't make the mistake that I made with the Hades video that I made. And while Hades is an incredible character and very powerful, I didn't do her justice in showing her off. So I wanted this to be very different, and I hope all the work that I put into this video is much better than the Hades demonstration I gave before. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe if you like this video, and let's get it popping. Alright, so S-Rank Shu, and we're now in the training section of the game. I'm going to demonstrate both of her stances for you guys. In this section, I'm going to demonstrate the offensive stance. In the actual combat section of this video, I'm going to demonstrate the defensive stance. Now, the reason for this is because this section does not have an enemy that will attack me, which is crucial to the defensive stances kit. So we are going to start off by showing you the offensive stance, but I'm first going to show you how to tell what stance you're in. You see that blue aura around the screen? The color dictates which stance you're in. So blue means that you are in the offensive stance, and green means that you're in the defensive stance. I don't see any other indicator anywhere else that would give you that information, but that is the easiest way to tell. You can just use skill 1 to switch between the two, and the whole purpose of switching between the two stances is to generate these marks that will be consumed in an enhanced skill 1 once you generate 6 of those marks. It doesn't matter whether they're a certain percentage of one mark and another percentage of another mark. You need 6 marks total. Doesn't matter which one. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the offensive stance. So the entire purpose of this stance is to utilize follow-up attacks. Follow-up attacks meaning that you're going to use skill 2 and skill 3, and then their additional skill 2 and skill 3 in order to generate marks. So what I mean by that is skill 2 will be initiated, and then you'll see you can hit it again, and that follow-up attack gave me one of the marks at the bottom of the screen. Same thing for skill 3. The first attack doesn't generate anything, but that follow-up skill generates the second mark. You need 6 marks total to get the enhanced skill 1, which will deal damage to the enemy. Now, there's various ways to go about generating these marks. You can use various skills in the offensive stance. You can combine it with the defensive stance and generate some of those marks, which are different, which I'll explain a little bit later. This mark here will give you additional lightning damage. So once you get 6 of these, you can just go ahead and just consume all 6 of them in order to deal an enhanced skill 1 to deal damage to the enemy. All right, so we're going to quickly spam these abilities in order to get 6. Now, if you run out of rage, you can use skill 1 in order to quickly generate rage, because per hit she generates rage. Or you can use her dodge ability when the enemy is about to attack you in order to generate an immediate 25 rage. But since this enemy does not attack, I have to use the normal attacks in order to generate that rage. So we're going to continue using the follow-up attacks until we have 6 of these marks. And now you see skill 1 is lighting up. Now, you will hold this ability in order to deal a enhanced skill 1 that will deal damage to the enemy. Now, that is pretty much how the offensive stance works. You will just continuously use a combination of these 2 abilities and their follow-up attacks to generate marks. Now, it's not quite the same for the defensive stance, so let me go ahead and switch over to an actual combat situation in order to show you the way you generate marks for the defensive stance. Alright, to start things off, I'm going to use skill 1 in order to switch to the defensive stance, and then I'm going to dodge the enemy's first ability in order to generate 25 rage. Now, Shu's dodge effect is that she can generate 25 rage whenever she dodges the enemy's abilities. Now, there is a time period in between that prevents you from just spamming it, but for the most part, I just missed both of those, so that wasn't because of the time limit. But as you can see, you can't just spam it or else it doesn't work. However, how do you generate marks in this stance? Well, whenever you use skill 2 or skill 3 for S rank Shu, if the enemy attacks you during the animation for these skills, Shu backs up and launches a counterattack. Now, this counterattack will give you your marks. Unlike whenever you're using the offensive stance, follow-up attacks give you these marks. So, what you're going to be doing here is relying on the enemy's attacks in order to obtain the marks needed to get the enhanced skill 1. Now, there is a difference in the enhanced skill 1 between the two, right? So I'm going to go ahead and generate those marks so that you can see the difference. Come on, attack one more time. Boom. All right. So as you can see, a different enhanced skill 1 becomes available. I'm going to dodge this attack and I'm going to use the enhanced skill 1. You see the animation is different. The only difference is that during the enhanced skill 1 for the defensive stance, you have a chance to counterattack again. But the scaling and the damage output is the same. It doesn't make sense. That's what the actual skill says. The values are the same. So that means that it's beneficial for you to just use the offensive stance. It's much better to use the offensive stance because you can not only dictate when you get your marks, but you can also get your marks faster and deal the same damage. It just doesn't make any sense why this kit works this way. But I guess the only added bonus would be the fact that, whoops, I am in the wrong stance. The only added bonus would be that you have the ability to completely dodge the enemy's abilities if they happen to attack you during the enhanced skill 1. That is literally the only benefit there. I'm getting clobbered now. Enhanced skill, or sorry, skill 3 follow-up attack. I'm trying to get rid of this one because he is problematic. And now I'm going to use the enhanced skill 1 in offensive. He's dead. All right. So now I'm going to use my ultimate ability so that you can see what that looks like. But for the most part, that is how her 2 stances work. The whole purpose is for you to get those 6 marks at the bottom. It doesn't matter what the variation of which. You can get 6 of one, 6 of the other, or a combination. As long as you have 6, you can use the enhanced skill 1. Now, what I didn't show you is that you can change between the 2 skill 1s if you choose. Just by tapping the skill 1 when it's in its enhanced state, you can switch to the other skill 1, which is offensive or defensive. I've already explained what the difference is, but just for those who may need me to explain again, skill 1 in the defensive state allows you to counterattack, while in offensive state it just deals outright damage to the enemy. The values are the same. It is pretty much the same skill regardless of which one. One just counterattacks, the other one doesn't. I don't see the point in using the defensive stance unless you're just having fun with it, which is why I use it. But if you're trying to play meta or trying to deal a certain amount of damage, you're going to want to stay in the offensive state because it's easier to generate your marks rather than relying on the enemy to attack to generate your marks for the defensive state. So that's pretty much how Shu works. She is a solid unit. She is strong. She just has some flaws in her kit that prevent me from being able to recommend her to meta players or players that want to build a team that is focused on damage dealing. So that's pretty much S-rank Shu. I did my due diligence. I tried my hardest to understand every part of this kit, but the kit is confusing whenever you're trying to dissect it. I feel like this character was a test for future characters. So maybe in the future there will be a character that does what she does a lot better. I mean, switching between offensive and defensive with multiple elements and being able to generate marks. It's counterintuitive to a degree, and it will be more difficult to generate the damage that you're trying to generate when relying on the enemy's attack of sorts. You can mix and match, but it's going to require a high skill ceiling when there's going to be better operators or better modifiers in the future that can deal this damage much easier, almost making the entire kit irrelevant. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. That is what I've discussed with various other members of the community, and that is the conclusion I've come to. If you just like Shu, pull for her, enjoy her. If you are meta or trying to build a specific team, skip her and just hope you randomly get her when pulling on a standard banner in the future. Anyways, that's it for this video. Have a wonderful day. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay chaotic. Love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out, everyone.